As one of the largest academic medical centers in the U.S., Cedars-Sinai is at the pinnacle of healthcare. Over 16,000 people, collaborators, innovators, and problem solvers work daily to improve the care of over 1 million patients each year.
Cedars-Sinai is known for innovating and innovative care.
That's why we're here. It's a role we take very seriously.
Cedars-Sinai laboratories and clinics sprout ideas, therapies, and devices that improve human health worldwide.
In the last 5 years, we have developed over 100 new technologies that have run the gamut from new diagnostics to medical devices to therapeutics and beyond.
Since planting its roots in 1902, Cedars-Sinai has been at the forefront of medical advancement. Now, it's leading the charge in digital health and technology, striving to accelerate the development and impact of innovative healthcare solutions. And that's the impetus behind the Cedars-Sinai Accelerator.
What is magical about the Accelerator program is the energy that you get going into a room where people are trying to make the world a better place.
It's great to see these really hungry new companies who have these fantastic and innovative ideas about how they might be able to change the world.
We choose the companies in the accelerator based on our stakeholders' need, our health system needs, our institutional need.
The Accelerator program has provided dozens of health tech companies access and mentorship to the world's leading physicians and researchers.
We send over our physician researchers, our clinicians, our nurses to help them define these projects.
Having this opportunity to connect with the next kind of phase of healthcare innovation is really exciting. And just seeing the things that they come up with and how that answers the needs of our diverse patient population, I love to be involved with it.
And then we use them on a day-to-day basis to help serve our community and our patients.
Technologies developed within the Accelerator program are now real-life solutions, directly benefiting Cedars-Sinai's patients, medical staff, and people all around the globe.
There's so many people that benefit from the Accelerator program, the patients that we serve, the physicians and clinicians that deliver.
Nurses see that we're taking steps to lighten their load, improve their workflow. I see the Accelerator as sort of the hub of the innovation ecosystem at Cedars-Sinai.
Celebrating its 10th class, the Cedars-Sinai Accelerator is honored to reflect on impactful contributions driven by the program.
I think if you look at the longevity of our program, it really indicates that the Accelerator companies themselves see value in it.
To date, our startups have partnered with thousands of hospitals and clinics, raising over $1 billion in funding. With the Accelerator, healthcare entrepreneurs, professional associates, international partners, and more have laid the foundation for the future of healthcare. One program bringing together a world of innovation. Welcome to the Cedars-Sinai Accelerator Class 10 Demo Day. Please welcome Jim Lohr, CEO of the Cedars-Sinai Intellectual Property Company.
Sorry about that. I was on a roll and I wasn't supposed to start talking yet. But hello and welcome to the Cedars-Sinai Accelerator Class 10 Demo Day. As you may have heard over the loudspeaker, I'm Jim Lohr. I'm the CEO of Cedars-Sinai Intellectual Property Company, and I oversee our venture and innovation activities, one of which is our world-renowned Accelerator program. Today, you will be hearing from founders from this year's cohort present their companies and their healthcare solutions. But first, I'd like to take a moment to note something particularly amazing. As you might have guessed by the fact that it's our 10th class, this demo day marks a huge milestone in that we've seen 10 classes, which means nearly 100 companies have now been a part of our journey since we began in 2016. Watching the Accelerator grow in stature and impact over the years is something I'm particularly proud of. Staying relevant in the world of innovation, as you all well know, is not an easy task. Collaborating with entrepreneurs, developing new ways to improve the healthcare experience is really one of the best parts of my job. As a healthcare provider, we at Cedars-Sinai understand how complicated, frustrating, and mystical healthcare, hello, somebody's adjusting my little thing and I'd wish they quit. So I'm gonna start about healthcare provider. We understand how complicated, frustrating, and mystical healthcare can be. But partnering with early stage companies provides a vision for a better future. And this vision is a global one. The Accelerator looks around the world for companies that can help us deliver the latest and greatest in care. I'm very impressed with the startups we're presenting today, and I'm sure you will be too. So, without further ado then, let's move on to the main event and meet our first company. Thank you and enjoy the show.
Introducing Summer Boberick, CEO of Hera Biotech.
Hello, my name is Summer Boberick, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Hera Biotech. At Hera, we're advancing the standard of care in women's health diagnostics, and our first indication is endometriosis. Endometriosis is a painful progressive disease where tissue similar to that which normally lines the inside of the uterus invades outside of the uterus, forming tumor-like growths called lesions. It's more prevalent than diabetes. It increases the risk of ovarian cancer by 4 times. It's the #1 cause of female infertility. And in the US, it takes an average of 8 years for a patient to receive their diagnosis. What makes endometriosis so difficult to diagnose is that the symptoms are nonspecific. And the current method of definitive diagnosis is a surgery, both of which contribute to the diagnostic delay, which costs patients and payers hundreds of thousands of dollars. In addition to the unnecessary financial burden, endometriosis is associated with over 60 comorbidities, meaning that a delay in diagnosis can have catastrophic effects on the health of patients, and is further unacceptable because once you know a patient has endo, a number of medical recommendations change. To date, a non-surgical diagnostic test hasn't been possible because we haven't known what to look for until now. Hera's team discovered that a misregulation of a gene set in the endometrial lining primes these cells for invasive behavior, which is exactly what is required for endo lesions to form in the first place. As a result of this work, we have 2 assays performing with over 90% accuracy when compared to the surgical gold standard. Endometriosis is the largest unmet need in women's health, and with that comes attention. There are groups working to validate markers in the blood or saliva for screening. However, screening tests require a definitive test to make them actionable. Hera's test is just that, analyzing a gene set causatively linked to endometriosis in the very tissue responsible for lesion formation, making our test actionable, definitive, and the only one positioned to replace the surgical standard of care. Hera's test has opportunities in 3 separate markets. The first, infertility, allowing for a personalized approach. The second allows for pharmaceutical companies to make meaningful claims on their drug candidates. And the third is in the gynecological care of women who present with symptoms. With an LOI in place, Hera will launch first in the fertility market. As a cash pay market, this allows us to generate revenue and build value while we pursue reimbursement and regulatory approval. Hera will initially launch as a lab-developed test. As such, Hera's test does not require FDA clearance to enter the market. That said, Hera has always intended to seek FDA clearance, adding significant value to the company and ensuring for an easier path to expand into commercial markets abroad. Additionally, we will be filing for STEP designation and will pursue a proprietary laboratory assay code, ensuring that only Hera's test is reimbursed under our code. Hera has the deepest pipeline in endometriosis with multiple assays in development, and we've secured a 1,000 patient biobank, which significantly reduces our capital requirements and clinical timelines. We're raising a $5 million Series A, which will be used to complete product development on our first test, be ready to launch that test as an LDT, build our results reporting software platform, and be ready to file for FDA clearance. Something I'm particularly proud of is the team behind this technology. Our team includes deep scientific expertise, top-tier endometriosis researchers, life science, venture capital, product commercialization, reimbursement expertise, and most importantly, between our members, we have 7 exits in this space. In summary, we have the deepest pipeline in endometriosis with multiple assays in development. We have patents pending on a breakthrough understanding of the disease and the team to make this happen. I'll leave you with this. Hera exists because as the mother to 3 girls who have a family history of endo, waiting 8 years to get to this is not an acceptable form of diagnosis for anyone. Thank you.
Introducing Bart Hertz, CEO of healthplus.ai.
healthplus.ai is on a mission to enable proactive surgery care. I'm Bart Hertz, CEO and founder of healthplus.ai, and as an ICU physician, I've been to the surgical ward one time too many. I particularly remember one week where I went into the same surgical ward every night to pick up a patient after the same type of surgery. And that was about 8 to 9 days after their surgery, and looking back, the first signals of an infection brewing was already there. If you look at surgery today, it's largely reactive. 1 in every 5 patients get an infection after their surgery, and the average diagnosis is made beyond day 5 after the surgery. It's also the #1 reason for readmissions, and readmission rate is currently at 22%. And if you look at global cost, it's currently estimated that we spend about $500 billion globally per year to treat infections after surgery. And that's why we made PERISCOPE. It's an AI decision support system that allows you to focus on the high-risk patients and actually discharge safely those that are without or have little risk. We use EHR data, and we're fully integrated into the workflow of the electronic health record, and we provide accurate predictions. What we also do is we bring all that information that you want to look at when doing your infection management in one place. So that sets you up for value-based success, reducing length of stay, readmission rates, and infection rates. It allows you to reduce the time to diagnosis and treat the patient earlier, and also saves the staff, nurses and physicians, time to review the patient. This is what it looks like. So we provide a prediction, and what we do here is kind of special technically. We recalibrate our AI system per hospital, meaning that for your specialty and for your hospital, we train the model specifically. We do a 7-day and a 30-day risk period prediction for each individual patient. We also explain why we got there. What is increasing the risk? What is reducing the risk? We're also, in that same view, giving you the background of the patient, so you know all the data that you need to look at, and also provide up-to-date trends around vital signs and lab results. It's not only a sizable problem in terms of financial impact, it's also a sizable market. We're currently based in Amsterdam. We have a contracted ARR of $500,000, around 6 months after our CE certification, and we're looking at an ARR of $3 million by next year. Like I said, we're CE certified, and we're looking at FDA approval by next year. And we're currently partnering, or have partnered rather, with EHR vendors that would cover 80 to 90% of all surgical beds in Europe and the US. We're award-winning. We're especially proud of the CES Innovation Award we received right here in Las Vegas in January. We're also publishing more and more papers on the impact that we have, but also the validations. The last one being a Lancet paper where we show in 3 different sites, prospectively for around a year, how accurate we are. But we want to be more than just an infection risk predictor. We are becoming a platform to manage the risk for each and every surgical patient. Please join us on our journey to support enabling surgical care proactively with providers and getting better recovery for all patients. Thank you.
Introducing Abhishek Agrawal, CEO of Kinexcs.
My company is linked very closely to my own personal story. This is my father. For the last 25 years of my life, he has been living with a musculoskeletal condition that has affected his day-to-day life and has been excruciating for me to witness. Hence, I decided to start a company that helps millions of people around the world, like my father, live a high quality of life on a daily basis. With Kinexcs, we are addressing the world's musculoskeletal disorders. Starting with end-stage osteoarthritis patients, we are looking at addressing the musculoskeletal issues of close to 2 billion people across the world who, just like my father, live a disabled life with pain and limited function and limited mobility on a day-to-day basis. Knee replacement procedures are the most effective clinical intervention for end-stage osteoarthritis patients to recover from their condition and live a high quality of life. However, there are complications, and multiple hospital visits are required for a knee replacement patient to recover from their condition. Hence, we've introduced an FDA-registered solution called the Kimia Recovery Management Solution. This comprises of a wearable medical device, a patient's mobile application, and a clinician's dashboard to help a knee replacement patient recover safely from the comfort of home, and for the clinicians to monitor their complications remotely and provide interventions when necessary. This helps reduce unnecessary visits, risk of complications, and even readmissions, and brings about clinical efficiency and saves costs for providers. We've achieved an excellent utilization rate of 86% and more than 10 hours of usage per patient on a daily basis. 70% of patients who use this product achieve their recovery faster than those who do not, and we've been able to address 100% of wound complications for a total knee replacement procedure for every single patient. This, again, has resulted in 10 to 15% in terms of cost savings for overall knee replacement bundle. Our key differentiators and what makes us stand out in the market is our ability to detect complications such as fixed flexion deformity and used advanced AI tools to detect wound-related complications. We also achieve superior outcomes for our total knee replacement patients by providing a novel intervention called as haptic feedback and make the whole experience of recovering at home and doing rehab fun, engaging, and interactive, resulting in higher compliance and superior performance. This product has achieved a high degree of clinical accuracy and high correlation with the gold standard in the industry, comparing with the standard of care. And this has been protected across the world with multiple patents and trademarks that have been granted. We've doubled our revenues in the last 2 financial years and secured partnerships with some of the leading healthcare institutions across the world and industry recognitions from major players in the market. This has yielded us recognition in important publications such as Forbes and HolonIQ. An example of traction we've received is a partnership with Johnson & Johnson, which is one of the top implant manufacturers across the world, wherein they are enabling clinical collaborations on Kimia Recover solutions with leading healthcare institutions in Japan as a result of Kinexcs being one of the only 4 companies across the world to be the winner of the Johnson & Johnson Japan Quickfire Challenge. This gives us access to 10 million knee osteoarthritis patients in Japan, more than 100,000 knee replacement procedures in a year, and more than 1,000 hospitals conducting this knee replacement procedure in Japan. And we hope to extend this partnership to the US market as well. A solid company is built by an energetic team and a cross-functional panel of domain experts, which are helping build the company into a global business. I'm sure none of us sitting here today want to see a loved one live with pain and disability like I did over the years. And so today, I'm thrilled to invite all of you to join us in our mission to enable and empower the millions of people around the world, just like my father, live a high quality of life with improved mobility and function on a daily basis. I hope you will join my mission. Thank you.
Introducing Laura Epstein, CEO of Pulse Charter Connect.
Hi everyone, my name is Laura Epstein and I'm the CEO and founder of Pulse Charter Connect, a medical transportation platform designed to save lives. When a viable heart only has a limited amount of time outside the body, every second matters. And yet there's no standard in place to maximize the efficiency of transportation. This results into over 10,000 organs per year that cannot be transplanted. As a pilot myself, I've seen this process time and time again. It's slow, inefficient, and unreliable. A clinical staff member, the transplant coordinator, is calling an intermediary or getting fed up and calling these charter companies one at a time in order to facilitate the transportation. They're wasting over 6 hours per transplant, and in this industry, there's over $4 billion spent annually for organs to travel over 500 miles from donor to recipient. What it looks like in practice is there may be a transplant recipient in Chicago named Mary, and the donor actually happens to be in St. Louis. I picked these locations because I was fortunate enough to go on this life-saving mission and help procure the organ. What happens is then Mary's transplant coordinator is calling all of these parties to be driven, flown, driven to St. Louis to do the surgery, and then driven, flown, driven back to do the surgery to transplant it into Mary. Where we come in is we procure this key complex coordination step for these different legs. We are the only digital solution for finding verified transportation. We've interviewed over 300 industry experts and incorporated a digital scheduling solution, 24/7 access, real-time data, and actionable insights that set us apart from the competition. We've created a simple, standardized process that saves time, effort, and money per health system. We've seen a 66% time savings, cutting down that 6 hours to 2, an 80% effort reduction on behalf of clinical staff, and a 20% cost savings. This cost savings translates to about $6,000 saved per transplant. With the average transplant center doing 170 transplants, their gross savings is over $1 million with a massive ROI to the transplant center itself. In terms of our business model, we have both recurring and non-recurring revenue. So in terms of the recurring, we have a tiered annual SaaS subscription that's based on the volume of the transplant center. And then more importantly, we have a transaction fee. And how this looks is the transplant center will contact us to coordinate the transportation on their behalf. Then they will pay us before they're reimbursed by an existing CPT code with insurance. So this is minimizing our reimbursement risk. There's also a multitude of tailwinds that are expanding the organ procurement and transplantation network worldwide. In terms of the US, there's been modernization efforts because of various congressional hearings. There's new technology that's preserving organs for longer and having an expansion of the donor pool. And then this matched with the increased demand, as with the rest of healthcare, of an aging population, COVID-19 complications, and diabetes. Today, we sit within the $4 billion organ logistics market, which is expected to double within the next 5 years. From there, we'll easily expand into the $16 billion surgeon logistics market through our already established relationships with these stakeholders. Our traction to date includes multiple signed contracts with both transplant centers and transportation companies listed here, and a deep pipeline of over $75 million in ACV and coverage for thousands of transplants per year, saving countless lives. I have our incredible team to thank for the 45 lives we've already saved to date, as well as our rocket ship trajectory. These people have incredible backgrounds from top logistics companies, anywhere from the military to healthcare logistics leaders, as well as transplant expertise from a variety of the top institutions. Thank you for listening, and I'm excited to continue using our cutting-edge technology to save more lives through successful transplantation.
Please welcome Dr. Nirdesh Gupta, Managing Partner of the Cedars-Sinai Intellectual Property Company.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Nirdesh Gupta. I'm the managing partner for Cedars-Sinai Intellectual Property Company, where I proudly manage our healthcare accelerator program. The companies that we have in our program's Class 10 are working really, really very hard to make a big impact on healthcare. They're cutting-edge solutions ranging from softwares to medical devices, diagnostics, focusing on major areas of clinical and healthcare unmet need, women's health, neurology, cardiovascular, pediatric, are really pushing hard to advance these solutions to improve lives of patients and physicians all around. While we are here to hear the stories, these extraordinary stories of our Class 10 companies, I wanted to take a moment to just update you on some of the work that our alumni companies are doing. To start out with, Avis Health. Avis Health is a wearable device company from our Class 8 from Singapore. Avis Health now has a FDA-approved device and software solution focusing on chronic respiratory conditions, particularly COPD and asthma. Avis has launched just recently a clinical study at Cedars-Sinai looking to expand their uses in pediatric population. Led by us, Avis has closed a $7 million round supporting their expansion into the markets in the US, and they're broadening their deployment in Singapore. We believe the Avis's technology really has a potential to make a difference in the care journey of chronic respiratory conditions like COPD and asthma. Another company from the same class, Syntho. Syntho is an AI-generated synthetic data platform. Syntho has been making a lot of progress. They've been expanding into Europe. They have been selected recently as a partner for health cloud operators in France. They have been recipient of a prestigious Province Nord MIT R&D Innovation Grant. And they have been working with us for the last couple of years where we have done some white papers around the utility of synthetic data for healthcare applications development. Our fundamental belief with Syntho, working with Syntho and the synthetic data approach is really enabling the access to the healthcare data that allows for these solutions development while really maintaining the privacy and the data protection. From our most recent cohort, we have a company from UK, 52 North. 52 North is a diagnostic platform with a solution focusing on low-cost, at-home diagnostic testing for neutropenia, a life-threatening side effect from chemotherapy for cancer patients. Their solution, integrated with a digital platform, allows for early diagnosis, timely intervention, and saving lives in cancer patients. 52 North has recently been selected as a company in the UK government's investigational device program, where designating it a breakthrough technology for addressing a major clinical area of need. Cento 52 North is raising a £4 million round co-led by us. Lastly, venturing back a little bit in time, we have a company, Regard, from our cohort 2. Regard has an AI-driven solution for integrating the EHR information at a patient level, enabling unique insights for physicians to provide treatments. Regard has just most recently closed a $60 million Series B round, where we had a significant participation from our Health Ventures Fund. These are just some of the examples of the many accomplishments that our alumni companies have had. Their product and solutions that they have been pushing forward have had tremendous impact on improving and impacting the lives of patients around the world. Our Healthcare Accelerator program, this is our 10th class. Over the last 10 years, we've been a very effective enabler and bridging partner for now over 100 companies, and allowing their solutions to really be out and be deployed and being used in the provider and the healthcare delivery systems in a variety of ways. And we are very proud of it, and that's really the mission of Cedars-Sinai, to really impact the community of the patient that we serve locally and globally, and we continue to do that work. And thank you for being here. Let's continue to listen from our, the rest of the companies from the class 10. Thank you.
Introducing Joseph Sokol, CEO of iCardio.ai.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to start with a mission-critical company update. Very exciting. What a better place to do it here at Health. Actually, a few weeks ago, I got engaged. And I'm also the CEO and co-founder of iCardio.ai, and my friends tell me that this means that I'm a connoisseur of all matters of the heart. So at iCardio.ai, we are building the future of ultrasound. Everyone in this room has a heart that will beat nearly 3 billion times in your life. And with all that wear and tear, everyone is at risk of developing cardiovascular disease. Echocardiography, or echo for short, is the forefront modality for screening for heart disease, but as you can see from these images, it's very subtle to actually detect heart disease from these images. Can anyone tell which heart here is normal and abnormal? So it turns out it's very difficult to do this. Machines do it better than humans, and even if a human does this, it requires a specialized fellowship and many years of training to get this right. So what exactly is an echocardiogram? It's a comprehensive exam of the heart, looking at heart tissue and blood flow, and it takes about 28 minutes on average to properly read an abnormal echocardiogram. But the problem with echocardiography is that it's ultrasound-based, which is literally noise and statistically noisy. And this leads to a tremendous amount of variability. In fact, it's one of the most various exams in radiological imaging. So how can we make echocardiography better? What we did is we've taken the largest data set of echocardiograms we can find, over 100,000 studies, hundreds of millions of images, and we built what we believe is the most comprehensive AI system for automated interpretation of echocardiography. So we started with our first product, which automates all of the manual functions that are typically performed, which is extracting linear measurements and volumetric measurements. And so this is our first product, and actually, just last week, we announced that we're now FDA cleared for this product. Next, we took our data set and learned that we can actually detect disease, and we can detect disease with higher discretion than a human. And in fact, one of our algorithms for detecting aortic stenosis was granted breakthrough device designation for exactly that reason. And we're not stopping here as far as our AI ambitions. Our long-term ambition is to be able to take an image like this, like you see here on the left, and produce a salient textual report, and we have already models that are showing significant performance in this regard. And we aptly call this technology EchoGPT. So as deep learning goes, as you use more data and you build larger models, the accuracy and performance of these models increases, which increases the clinical utility and ultimately the benefit to patients. And our data set is not just transthoracic echocardiography, we also have other ultrasound targets, and we're using all of this data to be what we believe we can be, which is the open AI of ultrasound. So how do we take our technology and put it into the hands of clinicians? We partner with distributors. So one of our distributors are PACS. This is where the actual medical images this is where medical images are actually read in the clinical workflow. We partner with hardware vendors, the more obvious implementation where we take our AI algorithms and put them directly on the cart. And we partner with medical device manufacturers that develop equipment for advanced cardiological procedures. So one example is Ultralink. They were one of our early believers. Ultralink, you can see their interface here on the screen. They're used in over 2,000 clinics across the country by 40,000 clinicians, and they collectively upload more than 250,000 studies every month into their platform. We're going to have automated echo interpretation available directly in Ultralink starting this year. Next, we partner with Viz.ai, one of the largest AI algorithm distributors. They're very interested in our structural disease algorithm capabilities. And lastly, just a few weeks ago, a lot of stuff happened in the last few weeks, we announced a very major partnership with one of the largest medical device manufacturers in the world, Abbott, where we're developing algorithms that will fit on their intracardiac echo probes. We're an interdisciplinary team of computer scientists and cardiologists, and we're working together to realize our mission of building the future of ultrasound. So I'll end by saying that AI won't replace doctors, at least as much as what you're seeing in health. Everyone thinks this may be the case, but at least we believe that this may not happen for a while. But we do believe that doctors with AI will replace doctors that act without it. Thank you, everyone. Come to our booth.
Introducing Salim Malakuti, CEO of NOMA AI.
Hi, everyone. I'm Salim Malakuti, CEO and co-founder of NOMA AI, and excited for the opportunity to present to you how we're using AI at the bedside to help prevent medical complications like maternal hemorrhage. About 17 months ago, my wife and I welcomed our beautiful daughter to the sport. It was an amazing and yet daunting experience. I found myself standing in the labor and delivery room, feeling quite unhelpful, and watching my wife going through that process and what was happening to her. Most notably was when one of the nurses announced her bleeding volume at 470 milliliters, which if you know about maternal hemorrhage, that's only 30 ml below the standard threshold for vaginal birth. And for context, today the most accurate method for monitoring and recognizing severe bleeding during childbirth literally involves using a scale and weighing the amount of blood a mom has lost. It's a reactive, non-personalized method that can result in subjective and delayed recognition. So it's exactly why that day I was standing in the labor and delivery room, hearing that number, seeing there's still more blood on the bed, and then thinking with myself, freaking out. What does that number mean for my wife? It's also exactly why problems like maternal hemorrhage are known to be unpredictable, because the best tool our physicians have are reactive, resulting in their inability to prevent medical complications like maternal hemorrhage, because we can't even know if and when they will happen. Today, maternal hemorrhage is the leading cause of maternal mortality and morbidity worldwide. From 4 million moms every year in the US, nearly 5% or 200,000 women are impacted by it. It represents a $2.5 billion cost to health systems and is one of the major drivers of disparities in maternal health outcomes. At NOMA, we're changing this by taking a device-agnostic, multimodal approach in combining EHR and high-frequency biosensor data to build EHR-integrated predictive patient monitoring technologies using AI and machine learning. Our approach allows us to build comprehensive real-time monitoring algorithms that can not only address the need for triage and early risk assessment, but can also act as proactive detection points that we can use as decision points for early and preventive interventions. When hemorrhage happens, patients are staying in the hospital longer, they're costing more, and considering that hospitals operate in capped reimbursement environment, they're actually losing money on many of those patients. We help hospitals prevent cases, improve patient outcomes, reduce costs, and simplify their workflows using automation. Earlier this year, we closed our pre-seed round, We're on track to submit our early risk assessment to FDA in Q1 next year. Today, we're closing a seed round to expedite the development of our detection technology. And finally, we expect to grow and expand beyond maternal hemorrhage, leveraging the technology that we built here to address wide range of similar complications beyond and inside maternal health, targeting the broader $10 billion market opportunity. Our hemorrhage tool, our early risk assessment technology today can capture about 89% of the patients, substantially outperforming the existing solutions, but also providing a 3 times higher predictive positive value. In the last year, we submitted 2 provisional patents, and we built partnerships with 3 renowned health systems, collecting a multi-site, diverse patient data set, including EHR data from 500,000 mothers. Between me and my co-founder, Dr. Gilles Cremont, we bring technical and clinical experience building technology like this for the last 3 decades. And we've been extremely privileged to build an amazing and passionate team at NOMA to help making this vision possible. Look, I can't emphasize enough how lucky I feel I am that everything went well for my family. But it's unbelievable that the best tool that we have for recognizing and detecting the leading cause of maternal mortality today is quite literally a good old scale. I believe we can do better. We've made it our mission to do so, and we hope you can join us in that mission. Thank you very much.
Introducing Caroline Cake, CEO of Neu Health.
Hello, my name is Caroline Cake. I am CEO and co-founder of Neu Health. At Neu Health, we're reinventing neurology care, starting with 2 of the most challenging conditions, Parkinson's disease and dementia. And we're doing this with data and AI, leveraging over a decade of research from the University of Oxford. Our mission is personal to me. This photo shows 2 of the most important women in my life. On the left is my grandmother, who lived with dementia 30 years ago. And on the right is my mother, who's now living with the condition today. But over those 30 years, care for these conditions is unchanged. When my mother sees her clinician, she's asked, "How have you been?" And that's really difficult to recall if you have dementia. Her care, like that of millions of others, relies on these subjective and often incomplete conversations. And my mother is not alone. In the 1990s, my grandmother was one of 22 million people living with either Parkinson's or dementia globally. And that has skyrocketed to 70 million today and is expected to be 90 million by the end of the decade. And it's a huge economic challenge, costing $360 billion annually in the US alone. But it doesn't need to be this way. Take my father-in-law, for example. He's the same age as my mum, but he's living with diabetes. His care is radically different. He and his healthcare team use digital tools to manage his condition proactively, keeping him healthy and outside the hospital. At Neu Health, we asked, why can't we do the same thing for neurodegenerative conditions? And that's exactly what we're doing. We've turned the patient's own smartphone into an FDA-registered software as a medical device. Patients are capturing data on cognitive, motor, and behavioral indicators along with their medication usage, all through their phone. And this data feeds real-time into the clinician dashboard, powered by over 10 years of research and algorithms from Oxford. This is game-changing, because for the first time, clinicians are able to use objective data in real time to proactively manage care, not just for individual patients, but for entire populations with these conditions. And it empowers the patients and their families to take control of their health and improve their outcomes. And here's how it works. Through active patient exercises, the smartphone uses its sensors and captures change in voice, gait, balance, reaction time, and tremor. Fluctuations that would otherwise go unnoticed until a clinic visit. But now this information is available instantly, providing clinicians with actionable insights. And we're already seeing results. In just 18 months, we have secured 6 revenue-generating contracts with hospitals across the UK. And our technology is being used in clinical trials globally. We are absolutely delighted to be part of the Cedars-Sinai Accelerator, helping us to enter into the US. But what I'm most excited about is that with more than 500 patients and their clinicians using the platform, we can already see changes in care and outcomes. Clinicians are reporting better care in 90% of appointments, including medication changes using the data. Patients have experienced 12% improvement in quality of life over 6 months, which is incredible, given that these are degenerative conditions. And we've seen 20% efficiency improvement in the clinic. And for the first time, patients can be managed through patient-initiated follow-ups. Most importantly, our solution is scalable. As we grow, our business model will evolve from remote monitoring for providers to creating even greater value for payers by reducing costs and improving outcomes at a population level. And we're uniquely positioned to lead this change, armed with world-class science, data, and an unrivaled team of experts. We have an exceptional team. Our chair, John Glaser, is former CIO at Partners in Boston and former president of Siemens Healthcare, and Sean Slavinsky, who previously led Walmart Health, enabling us to successfully deliver our vision. So in closing, I refuse to accept 30 years of unchanged care. At Neu Health, we're creating an approach that transforms neurology with digital technologies, data, and AI to create a future where people like my grandmother, my mother, and millions of others receive the care that they deserve. Thank you.
Please welcome Omar Perez, Manager of Global Growth and Strategic Alliances for the Cedars-Sinai Accelerator.
Today you're hearing stories of inspiration that launched our companies. And my mom and dad were storytellers, and they passed this gift of gab on to me, so I'm going to tell you a little story of my own. About 10 years ago, our leaders came together to answer a few fundamental questions, including how do we address our own unique challenges, how do we consolidate expert resources, and how do we push forward innovation and invest in our own future. And in a testimony of what it's like to work here, a swift plan was formed to work with nimble early-stage companies in a sprint-like environment, which formed into what we now know as the Accelerator. The program in its purest form is about relationship building, safe collaboration. And through the years, we've fostered these one by one. When all this began about a decade ago, there were 10 companies. And in that first class, there were 10 employees. But fast forward now to class 10, and all of this has changed. In fact, now our accelerator companies now employ over 1,000 employees. And so what's left now is just to answer a really, really interesting question. Who's going to fill in these next 2 seats, and whose name is going to appear on the next banner? And with that, I'd like to introduce all of you to the alumni of the mighty Cedars-Sinai Accelerator. Thank you. There's a few other thank yous too. We couldn't have gotten to this spot without the help of so many people at Cedars who help us review and vet and understand our department's needs, our clinical needs. A big shout out to everyone. And there's so many people in this room that answered our emails, our texts, and our phone calls, and it helped us arrive at this monumental moment. So thank you so much.
Razavi, CEO of Fraiya.
Good afternoon. My name is Professor Reza Razavi. I am the CEO and co-founder of Fraiya. Fraiya is addressing the key problem of improving detection of congenital problems in pregnancy. As a physician who looks after these babies, I see the difference between those without an antenatal diagnosis, the ones who come to us often across long distances, sometimes at death's door, compared to those with an antenatal diagnosis who are actually delivered in the specialist children's hospital, are well, and go straight to surgery. Actually, I'm also the dad of one of those babies. It's my daughter Poppy, who didn't have an antenatal diagnosis and nearly died. So, how are we doing here in the US in terms of detecting these abnormalities? Well, not very well. This is one area where the health system is really letting families down. On this slide, you see data from 3 studies that look at detection of congenital heart abnormalities. Now, these are about half of all congenital abnormalities and are the ones where antenatal detection makes the most difference to outcomes. As you can see, detection rates are nearly all below 50%, and actually, there's a huge geographical variation as well. Now, that map relates to the 3rd study, which was the biggest, and across 91 centers across the US. And overall detection was 34%. And unfortunately, in Region 7, Nebraska came bottom of the class with only 17%. You might say, well, why is this? Well, the way these scans are being done today haven't changed for the last 20 years. It requires the sonographer not only to perform the scans, to find the views, which actually can be pretty difficult because the babies don't just lie on their backs and hold still, but also in real time interpret the fleeting images. And they're looking for over 100 problems, which actually altogether make up these 2% of abnormalities we see in pregnancy. At Fraiya, we have AI-assisted solutions to address this. Fraiya Scan and Fraiya Detect working hand in glove to both improve the workflow and improve detection rates. We've already completed randomized control trial, Prometheus, and shown that Fraiya Scan can substantially reduce the time it takes to do the scan from 20 minutes down to 12. And Fraiya Detect can improve detection rates up to 98%. Our technology, as it's rolled out, we get more data, also improves the specificity. That's a really important challenge because false positives need to be negligible in a screening test. And we're now expanding to all of pregnancy, so going across to the 12-week first trimester scan and actually going beyond pregnancy as well to other ultrasound indications. Our technology is built on a huge amount of IP, including data, much of it collected prospectively from major London hospitals. Now, we're talking about 2 billion images from 150,000 examinations. If you look at pregnancy ultrasound, it's actually a huge market. We're talking over $7 billion a year spent in the US doing these scans. And, you know, improving productivity is really the key challenge for everyone in the health system. If our technology was rolled out across the US, the health economic benefit would be enormous. Not talking just about productivity improvements by reducing the scan times, but also a reduction in malpractice costs, and the biggest benefit would be a reduction in the postnatal care costs. We are the only technology that has proof points of really improving the workflow, and actually the only technology that's properly tackling the challenge of improving detection rates. Now, improving detection of congenital problems in pregnancy will transform babies' lives, reduce the burden on the workforce, and substantially reduce the cost of health. healthcare. Fraiya can get it done. Thank you.
Introducing Philippe Miller, CEO of Momentum Health.
Hi, I'm Philippe, the CEO and co-founder of Momentum Health. Momentum Health is an AI-based mobile 3D imaging and monitoring platform for spine care. About $135 billion is being spent on spine-related disorders in the US per year, and specifically 40 million people are living with a spine deformity, impacting children and our aging population. And the way we follow these patients is fundamentally flawed. Spine care is dominated by single point in time static X-rays, which gives us a 2D view of a 3D dynamic condition. X-rays don't capture how a patient looks, feels, and functions on a daily basis, and in pediatrics, they expose patients to harmful radiation exposure, doubling the risk of breast cancer in scoliosis patients. At the same time, surgeons spend most of their time on managing patients who don't need any treatment, and we're often missing key windows for non-operative care, leading to unnecessary surgeries. And that's why we're building the future of spine imaging. With just a 45-second video from any smartphone, we generate a true-to-scale 3D model of a patient's body. And on that 3D model, we analyze key spinal metrics and predict the degrees of spinal curvature. Patients can track their progress with a mobile app, and clinicians remotely monitor through a web app, improving their clinical workflow. The deeper thesis behind the company is that AI and surface topography, which is this 3D model, is a foundationally new imaging modality, where we can predict underlying clinical measures, examine the patient visually, quantify aesthetic changes, and capture gait and balance dynamically and remotely. For the patients, our solution is designed to guide them through their care journey with guided scanning, very similar to taking a panorama on an iPhone. It provides them with their AI-predicted call bangle, tracks functional data, key questionnaires, and brace compliance in kids. For surgeons, it's an end-to-end imaging platform to help them see the right patients at the right time and quantify outcomes objectively, from primary care screening to remote monitoring of non-operative patients and to informing surgical planning, all of which is reimbursable under RTM and RPM codes. In our first 4 clinical studies, with 12 more ongoing across the US and Canada, we've demonstrated a correlation of 0.9 with the X-ray red measurement and a mean average error of 6 degrees, which is in line with the inter-observer variability of radiologists on the X-ray. Our initial focus is really on high-volume children's hospitals using a per-patient, per-month subscription model reimbursed through those RTM, RPM codes. And for patients, this means fewer X-rays, closer monitoring, and better access to care. For providers and health systems, it means seeing more patients while ensuring that surgeons are focused on the highest risk cases. And for payers, it drives cost savings by reducing physical therapy, imaging, surgeries, and long-term disability. In the 2 years since we were founded, we've raised $2.5 million, received FDA 510(k) clearance as the first AI-enabled device in the Department of Physical Medicine, and we are working with some of the top hospitals across Canada and the US on groundbreaking research, but also with key commercial pilots at major hospitals across the country. Beyond just the $10 billion spine market, we plan to expand our AI and topography to other conditions like cranial deformities, hip and knee malalignment, and predicting biomarkers like sarcopenia from surface topography. We have a world-class team of engineers, spine surgeons, and strategic investors behind us, including my co-founder, Dr. Jean Ouellette, a world-renowned pediatric spine surgeon and the head of the Canadian Pediatric Spine Society. At Momentum Health, our mission is to empower patients and care teams to remotely manage care by truly digitizing the human body. And our vision is that we can turn your phone into this next-generation, patient-centered imaging platform. Thank you.
Introducing Nicole Boskoski, CEO of Elaborate.
All right, I am last. Next, happy hour. Hi, everyone. My name is Nicole. I'm the CEO of Elaborate, and I'm thrilled to be sharing a bit more about what we do here with you today. Before we begin, we'd love to start with a brief background. So prior to starting this business, I was running ambulatory groups across the country with a focus on primary care. Here's one of the teams that I was leading out of Manhattan. Now, when I look back at this photo, I see a group of clinicians who love what they do. They love their patients, they love this team, they love the art of medicine. You know what they really don't love? The in-basket. In my time working with these and hundreds of other clinicians across the country, it became painfully obvious that they were being drowned by the weight of the in-basket. Now, don't get me wrong, it wasn't that they didn't love their patients, they didn't want to talk to them, that's not it. But they didn't have the infrastructure in place to deal with the influx of messages that was barraging them on a daily basis. And let's be honest, on the patient side, it's not a whole lot better. You find yourself waiting days on end for a messy scribbled 2-word response that doesn't actually answer your questions when you need support. And while this isn't really working for either the patient or the practitioner, health systems are spending millions of dollars every year resourcing the in-basket through either APPs, call centers, nursing pools, and the number gets a lot more expensive if you're trialing technologies to draft responses that your clinicians are not even using. I'm here to present an alternative future for your clinical staff. My name is Nicole again, and we partner with health systems and academic medical centers to cure your in-basket. Now, just like your doctor practices preventative care with you as your patients, we cure the in-basket by preventing messages before they even show up. So rather than drafting a reactive response once a message comes in, like a large language model or a call center might do, we've taken the time over the last 5 years to map out why is that message showing up in your in-basket in the first place. And then, using a patient's own health data, we automate protocols to power the majority of those interactions that run through the in-basket and your call centers so that your doctors and clinical staff aren't having to deal with them at all. As a result, with Elaborate, what's really cool for our doctors and our clinical support staff is that your in-basket volume goes down because your patient needs have already been met. So let's take a quick example, a look at one of these workflows. So you know how when you get your lab results as a patient, you have no idea what they mean, there's red values everywhere, so you start Googling and sending panicked messages to your patients, to your doctor, excuse me. No one else does that, just me. Well, with Elaborate, we power an automated health summary to go out with your lab results that is personalized to you and your health story that explains what the result means and what to do next. And notably, this is what your doctor wants you to do next. And so you don't actually need to panic and reach out to your practitioner anymore. You have all the information you need right at your fingertips. And on the doctor side, we power an embedded solution to provide the clinical references that they need when reviewing your case during lab review, so that they aren't going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth in the chart to find information such as ASCVD or previous medications. Now, I'm oftentimes asked, how is this technology hallucination-free? Well, to power our automations, we have a rules-based model that we've built based on the way that doctors actually practice, and that has created a set of proprietary clinical protocols. With these protocols, we only use the data available to power our interactions. The software cannot, by design, it never produces information out of thin air. And while this is ready to implement today, I know it takes a little bit longer to implement with our enterprise partners, but it is ready to implement off the shelf. The technology is designed to ambiently customize to the way that you practice, your clinical preferences, style, and tone, without requiring hours of work from your clinical or IT teams to set the preferences. We are the only in-basket vendor in the Epic showroom today. And additionally, we work with a number of other EMRs, such as Athena and ModMed. Okay, so for any of those running health systems or provider groups out in the audience, I recognize times are tough, another vendor, more money out. So I want to take a brief moment to talk about the hard ROI of investing in this solution. Here's one of our partners out in Texas. This is an Epic site. And we're live across all of their practitioners, by default, all of their in-basket workflows. And for this group, within the first year, they saw 5x return on their investment simply by measuring the total reduction in resources to their in-basket workflows. And hard ROI is great. However, what I'm most excited about is that on this slide is that of the interactions we powered, 94% required no edit, no follow-up from the clinician or their staff. It's as if that in-basket volume disappeared entirely. So right before getting here, I got on the phone with a bunch of health system execs from across the country. I'm biased, but I asked them, hey, I want to hear from you. You're going to health. Tell me, what do you think is the #1 challenge that you guys are solving for that others are looking for when it comes to outpatient and ambulatory groups today? Scribing was one of them. We know lots of solutions and vendors working on that. When we talk about the next biggest challenge for healthcare to solve, it's clear. 89% said it's the in-basket. We have a solution that is live today. I'm excited to offer this technology for those looking to cure their in-basket together. Thank you so much.
Please welcome Samantha Shobash, Manager for the Cedars-Sinai Accelerator.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening in to the presentations. So if you like what you heard, the information for our companies can be found on our website, as well as we will be having a reception to follow, so please stick around. And before we wrap, I would just like to say I have had the privilege of overseeing operations for this program and building out its curriculum now for 5 classes. So it's always such a treat to see all of the hard work that the founders put in the 3 months. And what you saw today was a culmination of that. So video stopped, but there are a few thank yous I would like to give. To David Wrigley, our CFO, thank you for your unwavering support of this program and your guidance and leadership to me. It's so greatly appreciated. To our wonderful R&D team, who dedicates weekly office hours with our companies. And truly, without them, we could not implement any of these solutions. So to Ray Duncan and his team, thank you so much. To our mentors, a few of which are in the audience, thank you so much for all of the time. For those of you that don't know, any mentor, external and internal, it's all voluntary. So there's really just this energy of innovation that we feel at the Accelerator. So thank you to all of them. And to our wonderful associates, thank you so much for all of your hard work. They work very they work very hard with us over the 3 months and with the companies, and I'm very happy to announce they've all found their placement for their roles next after the Accelerator. So I'm very, very excited to watch them grow and watch their career journeys. So I'm so proud of you guys. And last but not least, to our wonderful Accelerator team. We are a lean team, but boy, are we mighty. And I think we've created something very special with such a large program. So until then, that is a wrap for Class 10. Thank you.